Uh, oh boy. Here we are, Judith. Here we are. Hi, Judith Aston.
Yes. Hi, Aunt. Hi, Diane.
I just want to say just how honored I feel to be in contact with you and get to talk to you and just thank you again. I just, as often as I can, I just want to thank you for all your hard work in our industry. You've been working since you were 3 because
Yeah, almost.
You're 53 now, and it's been what, 50 years in the industry? Is that correct? Is that a fair number? 50 years?
Actually, in the end, I've been teaching. I started teaching at a college in 1963. Yes, and then I got into bodywork in 1968, and I joined the AMTA in 1968.
How about, I wonder how many, wait a minute now. I wonder how many members were in that group then. What do you think? 18?
That would be a good question.
I think I'm gonna have to contact someone about that.
Yeah, it was really fun. It was really fun. And I probably wouldn't have gotten into bodywork if I hadn't met Dr. Rolf.
Yes. And I have to say that's true for a lot of people. And so it's nice to see people carrying the message now with their own twist on things and always giving reference back to such a great woman as herself. Yes. So let's not play around here, Judith. Let's dive right in, because one of the things that I think is important for people to know is that you're still teaching classes. And what a huge, I think people better get on the bandwagon and get to see you. I mean, we have Allison Sagewind. She's teaching for you as well. And
indeed, we do.
You have a group of teachers, you know, that teach teacher stuff, but you still personally get out and teach, and you have some classes coming up.
Yes.
You'll be live and in person. And okay, so let's put this in perspective. So Judith Aston worked with Ida Rolf and has been around for years and years and years, and has put together this amazing book, which I don't understand why more of the teachers aren't talking about. And I'm gonna have to give them a hard time, because this book is a whole new way of seeing things. So these drawings right here, these drawings have make things so much easier to see, and in a way that's more understandable. So if you don't have this book, let's just start there, because it should be in every massage therapist's office, home, wherever you practice. If you don't have this, I feel bad for you. Anyway, so that being said, you're teaching some classes. You have a class July 30th and 31st.
Yes.
And what class will that be, and where will it be held?
It's Aston Kinetics See, Move, Feel. And it's an overview of the work, and it introduces people in this 2-day class, and it's online, so people can join easily. It's online, and it focuses on a little bit of seeing, a little bit of the movement work, and a little bit of the touch, so that we can introduce people to some of the ideas. And then they could decide which of the 3 classes they want to go into next. Is it about movement? Is it about body work? Is it about seeing? All of these different classes that we have.
So one of the things I think that is important to point out is seeing. Okay, so one of the things that I like about you and how you talk about body work is the mindfulness of how you even approach a client. So without seeing and taking the time to kind of see the person on whatever level you decide to as a massage therapist, if we're doing Aston Kinetics, we're doing it a certain way. So seeing is an important tool that will help a therapist work easier, not harder, right? And it'll help them have a full scope.
Yes.
And then, okay, so then the movement, how the person moves, is also, I mean, that's important, right?
It's very important, not only for the person, the client, but also the way you use your body. We have a saying, it's the how you do the what you do that makes all the difference. So if I am using my body and my leverage in a way, and I'm able to spiral or rotate my body to actually go in deeper, stay more superficial, lean less, etc., is very different than abusing my body by crunching it in some way. And at the end of the day, I have this pattern that's come into my body because of my right-handedness and the way I work. So it's so important for the therapist as well to learn about how to neutralize themselves with movement from the day and the stresses of the day, but also how to help their clients learn to reset themselves, because sometimes when people are sitting at a computer all day, this is their bread and butter. They have to work. They have this job, but they don't know about the ergonomics that could help them. And they don't know about movements, simple little movements they could do to reset themselves and end up actually feeling and looking better at the end of the day, and then going home and passing that along into fixing dinner, serving dinner, et cetera, et cetera. So, yes.
So I've just a recap, if you haven't heard me say this before, I learned how to sit, thanks to Judith. I am sitting on my hips. I am not sitting on my lower back. So those things are all very important. And then your work, your actual hands-on. So we are learning to work with the grain, work with the muscle. Talk a little bit about that.
Well, you know, so for example, I was hired a very long time ago to create movement programs for a college. And that meant I designed for the athletic department, the theater department, music department, et cetera, et cetera. And the movement training that I had and my creativity allowed me to create these programs. And then that moved into people needed more information about how to use their body in their daily life tasks, not just their work or their athletics, but in their whole daily life that supports their athletics. And then Dr. Rolfe was able to help me tremendously after I'd had an accident. And in that first session that she gave me, and I realized, my goodness, this is miraculous, that she could work on my tissue and the fascia would change so quickly. And she asked me in that first session, would you be able to create a movement program for my work, structural integration? And I said, sure, thinking that was it. But no, she wanted to train me. So I got trained, and like all the therapists that are listening to you and I today, with this talk, they are trained in techniques to achieve some goal. They are trained in recipes. They are trained in particular protocols for specific tendencies that are going on in the body. This is the wealth of information that the new therapist has when they graduate. They have all this information. But what I find that is so important, it's how you select what you need for what's needed for the client, how you can use your body through the movement and the techniques of usage, how you can work deeply without putting that force back into your body, that what you translate from the earth with this ground reaction force goes right into your fingertips, and it kind of swims through the tissue, and so on, and so on, and so on. And suddenly people say, Judith, how much do you weigh now? And I say, listen, I'm almost 100 pounds. I'm up to almost 100 pounds every day. And they go, I don't understand how you can do this. It doesn't make sense. And the point is, if they were able to watch me working, they would see, and some people say, oh my goodness, it looks like a dance. Yes, it does. That dance training really helped when I was 7 on up. But the point is, the dance is created by the therapist with the person, with their interest, with their understanding, and their tissue. So a lot of times, people are taught how to impress and compress to really get something to change. Sometimes people think the body is symmetrical right and left. And I think Dr. Rolf used to call it aberrations. The aberrations that take us off what's supposed to be perfect, okay? So, you know, when you understand that you have an aberrated body, you really want to do something about it. But the point is, there isn't anything in the body that's symmetrical. And when I started having these ahas, I said, oh my goodness, I have to change how I'm working. I have to think of the right side or the front of the body very different than the other side. I have to realize the organs that we develop around really change the body math and the development. You know, so like I'm an 8-month baby in utero, and so my lungs didn't get to develop like they should. And that's a consequence that goes on in one's life that you work to improve. But all of this history, plus the injury they had when they were hurdling, the injury they had when the ball hit them in the jaw, all of these things, you know, and I've said this before, Diane, I think you've given me the opportunity to show this once before, but let me show it again. A lot of times people will fall and they hit something and their hip hits it, and whatever it is, it does that to the body in essence, okay?
Judith,
And
be
they
careful.
broke, pardon me?
Be careful. You hit yourself pretty hard.
I think it's a very good microphone.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
It's my Yeti. My Yeti did that.
I'm very impressed.
But the point is, let's say they broke the head of the femur, okay? And the consequence is they need that hip replaced, or they need definitely surgery, and they need all these things. But what happened to the rest of the impact? What happened to the overstretch in here, the compression in here, the compression in my low back here, the torque that happened when I fell, et cetera, et cetera. And if we can neutralize some of those patterns even before the surgery, that surgery will be put into a better aligned body.
Oh,
And it starts to change the healing rate to be so much faster, and so on and so forth. And the piece that was this big light bulb that crashed on my head one day, and I said, wow, you know what? How do you negotiate the asymmetry of two things or two different lines? We spiral. You can include the right and the left wave and the down and the up and the forward and the back while you're going through the tissue to get to the deeper layers. When you try to compress all these layers to work something down here, one, it can really hurt. Two, you can't be as accurate if you move the layers out of the way to get to the deeper layer and the attachment along the skeletal system. So the piece there is, it's so exciting to introduce people to these ideas of accepting and respecting asymmetry, uniqueness of the person, how their tissue changes, how their mind changes, how their movement can change. Oh, it's so thrilling.
so as you can see, there's a lot of information to be had here from Judith Aston, which is why I'm here to tell you a little bit more about our classes. So you have a class July 30th and 31st, and then you have another class August 26th, 27th, and 28th.
Yes.
And what class will you be doing?
That 301, the Aston spiraling technique, is for body workers and teaching them, you know, of course, we would hope that they get the book or that they take the one-on-one class so that they can learn about seeing. And let me just say, we add a little bit of seeing into this class as well, but let me just show you this pattern that's so common. Pelvis forward, chest back, chest anterior flexion, head and neck forward. This is a very common pattern. When you see this pattern and you identify, you say, wow, no wonder that person is complaining of a backache because it is loaded so much. But you don't want to stop there. Is it loaded because the chest is the causal piece that is so tight that it's compressing? Or is the chest easily movable and it's the pelvis that is the injury, that the chest can move and the pelvis can't? And so you start to problem solve what you see with what you feel, because we get a little bit into palpation in that class, and then how you do your technique and your own body mechanics to match the layer that you're working on. So we're pretty excited about that class. It's 3 days live, and it's people have called it very transformative.
And then my dreams are coming true. I'm going to meet Judith Aston live in person myself. So in September, I'm coming. Judith, I'm coming to see you.
Yay, 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 yay. Diane will be at that class. Yay.
I will be at the class September. It's 16th, 17th, and 18th. Is that right? Is it 3 days?
16, 17, and 18.
So I will get to see you live and in person and tell people about that class and where it'll be held. And I think I'm coming to Lake Tahoe, I believe, right?
Yes, you're coming to Lake Tahoe. Yep. And then the training center is in, Allison has built this beautiful, has created this beautiful training center for us. And it's in Reno. And so we'll be up here in Tahoe, and then we'll do the 3 days in Reno.
Woo! So I mean, I think the point is proven here as to why I think more people. I hope that there's floods of people that sign up for these classes, because it's one of those things that I think the better you can see and the more you can see, the more helpful you can be, and then the more you can pay attention to movement and the way you're moving, the way the client's moving. That's also really important. And then too, getting through layers in a way that's full of integrity, let's use that word, is also important. And making my favorite thing that you said, that I too have said, is massage is like a dance. It really is. It's an art. It's a beautiful dance. And so you could see Judith live and in person and learn some of this stuff. So don't hesitate. And if you don't have the book, please buy the book. You got to buy the book. Well, buy the book and then go to the class. You should buy the book. You got to buy the book. The book is amazing. Judith, do you have anything else to leave us with besides just the fact that you're just plain awesome?
Diane, you're so much fun, and you've contributed so much to this field. I'm so honored by your appreciation of this work, but I'm so honored to just be in touch with you. So thank you.
And it just makes sense. When you take the classes, you read the book, you'll see it just makes sense. It's that aha that you've been waiting for all along.
I have to say, I want to say something about that because it's so cute. So Diane and I gave Diane a session online, and we got to the closure, and she said, Judith, it just makes so much sense. And I said, yes, that's why it's our tagline.
Wait, let me just say before we end that you and I have put together a class that is at NCBTMB right now. They're a little behind in getting their stuff together, but that'll be out soon, and I'll let everybody know when that's out. That's again just going to be a great way to get to know Judith better and be as thankful for her as I am. So, Judith Aston.
Thank you, Diane.
My pleasure.
Bye for now.
Next time.